Hello, we're starting another week here in Com 130, and this one is an exciting week. That's because this week is what I consider to be the start of our final project. Yes, we will be doing a project this week that we will build on throughout the rest of our class. If you would like to see how you will use this week's project in our final project, feel free to take a peek at weeks 12 through 14. Fair warning, we are starting this week swinging, so please do not procrastinate your work. For our first due date, we have an ad campaign due. And for our second due date for this module, you will create and submit a reverse engineer blog post about that ad campaign. So let's talk about that ad campaign project. For this project, you will first find an existing professional ad. This ad should be BYU Idaho appropriate. This means it shouldn't include alcohol, super immodest clothing, things along those lines. It also needs to be well designed, and it needs to have at least one line of text, such as a headline. It also should include the company's logo. Now, with that, you have the choice to choose one that is vector-based or even one that is raster-based. Your next step will be creating a new unique ad. The main idea for this is you want it to look as if it's from the same campaign as the original ad. Now, this does not mean you will be recreating an ad exactly, but instead you will be making a new ad that could fit in a campaign with the original. Now, the key word here is unique ad. Again, it needs to be BYU Idaho appropriate. It needs to be the same dimension as the original ad or the same size or proportions, in other words. It should have text, but it needs to be typed text. You can't just paste in a picture of text because you need to be able to manipulate the text. Like with our other projects, images or graphics, of course, need to be legally obtained, and you should also include the logo of the company. Finally, you will fill out a report showing where you got your images. We will utilize fair use on the original ad and the company logo, but all other images and resources need to be legally obtained. When you're done with your ad campaign, you will download and fill out the legally obtained resource report, and that will explain where you found your images and how they've been legally obtained. Now, let's look at some examples of this project. First, we have this one. This is a super fun ad that was turned in. We have the original on the left and the new ad on the right. Essentially, this student did this in Photoshop. He took an image of a Lego brick and pasted it over and over again. You can see here it's really the same brick pasted 5 times over. And then he also had a little silhouette of a dinosaur that he rotated around, faded at the top to make it look a bit more like a shadow, and he copied the typography almost exactly from the original ad. It looks beautiful. This ad got a perfect score for this project. All right, here's another great example. We have an Advil ad. Again, the original on the left, the new ad on the right. The great thing about this one is we have the typography, which is really what is tying everything together. Personally, in this project, I've seen that typography is the main thing that has tied most students' ads together, and this is a great example of that. We can see she also switched up the headline as well, which I think is great. And the imagery was also similar, of course, not as extreme as the left one, but still it works well and it looks like it could be from the same campaign. And here is another one. This one is a horizontal ad. So I have the original ad on this page and the new ad here. So we can see the original ad. They have the dog, which was masked out on the left, and then the typography headline just centered on the right. And here we have similar typography oriented a little differently, but we have the same idea of the dog being masked out on the left. This is a great ad as well. And here is one of my favorite ads that's ever been done. This is a great example of a vector-based ad. The left one was the original ad, and the right one is her new ad. This was done in Illustrator, and it looks amazing. You can see that she used different colors for the background, but it still fits the general color scheme of being kind of pastel-y. She also has the repeated shape of the fry container and of course the McDonald's logo. She matched the typography very well, and even down to the thickness of the lines. This was just spot on. All right, I have already talked in the past videos about some websites you can find where there are images that are free to use, but as a reminder, my 3 favorite websites for finding images that are legally or that are legal for you to use are Pixabay, Unsplash, and Pexels. They're great websites with lots of images to choose from. And with that, take your time on your ad campaign project. Again, you will be building upon your project over the next 2 weeks. So I want you to be happy with your final result. When you're ready to submit, you will submit the original ad, the new ad, and the legally obtained resource report, all as PDFs. You'll submit 3 PDFs for this assignment. For the second due date, you will do a reverse engineer post of your ad campaign, comparing it to the original ad. For the reverse engineer post, you have to do the blog setup like with the previous blog post, so be sure you don't forget that. But for the actual blog post itself, you will do an introduction, an analysis on both the new and original ads designs, color and typography, and a conclusion. You will also create one drawover for each of your 6 analysis paragraphs. So you should have at least 6 drawovers in your blog post as a whole. Some of the paragraphs have specific requirements, so make sure you read through the instructions thoroughly. And as usual, when you're finished, you will submit it as a link and as a PDF screenshot of your blog post. As always, please feel welcome to reach out to me through email. I'm here to answer questions or help you with anything you need. And other than that, just keep up the great work.